Welcome, everybody. We're here, Daryl and Jeremy here, Around the Basket, episode 11. I'm excited to be here. How are you feeling, Jeremy?
Oh, I am so excited. I was watching that intro and the guests we have on tonight.
They're amazing guests.
I'm
I don't know
almost
how
got
we got them.
chills.
I don't know how we got them.
Yeah, I hear they're really in demand, these two guests that we're going to have on the show tonight.
Yeah. I've heard they're so hard to get because you never get them on a Wednesday. They're
No,
always on a podcast on a Wednesday.
I heard Putting League tried to get them. Nope, no can do.
No.
Wednesday night leagues try to get them. Nope, not going to happen.
No.
They're just that busy. Who are they anyways?
We'll get to that later.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So if you're a Patreon subscriber, you're here. Thank you for joining us. It's the thing we do after our main Chain Out podcast episode.
Yeah.
This week's going to be a little bit different. As you've seen by the title, and you've probably seen by the post as well, we're going to try something new. Once a month, we're going to kind of roll back the time a little bit. It's just going to be me and you, Jeremy. We're going to fly solo, as you like to say. Back in the day,
fly solo together.
Yeah, fly duo. Back in the day, when we first started, we didn't have the guests on. We had me and you. We were doing news, what was going on in the disc golf world. We would do course reviews. Yes. Remember when we used to do those course reviews?
Oh, I love the course reviews. So good.
We used to do, we would have chat, we would have trivia, we would have lots of things like that. So we want to go back to that rather than all the stuff that we can't seem to fit in now from a 2-hour episode to 2 1.5-hour episodes. The things that we can't fit into that.
Yeah.
This is what's going to be on these episodes.
Well, I'm excited for it because, as you said, is that in that first episode now that with the Chain Out interview, I think we've got that figured out, right? Where we've got a guest on, we've got a pretty good setup of questions that we're going to ask. We go off the cuff, we do different things like that. We try to have a little bit of top of show, but we don't really want to get it to be too long. But then this is going to give us that ability to really dig into things for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Sam misses the course reviews.
Yeah. Dina, Dylan.
Oh yeah, I don't know I know Dina joined us. Well, the thing was, we saw Dina join us through the comments and then through the Patreon. But Dina, how long were you listening to Chain Out? Have you actually heard some of our rough and tumble original episodes?
If she's a friend of Andrea's, she's probably been directed to go back and listen to episode 1. or maybe Andrea said, oh, you know what? The best way to listen to it? Start at episode 20.
Yes, do the de-evolution.
Go back from 20 to 1, and then it makes you appreciate 21 more, 22.
Yeah, that's right. So I think that's what we're going to do tonight. We've got a few topics that we're going to talk about. And the other thing, when we started Around the Basket, one of your thoughts had been that we would have some discussions and maybe argue on some things. Not argue, but debate, because if we have different opinions.
It seems like our Chain Out episodes are very much, oh, this is so great. You're so great. People we have on, we want to promote.
Well, that's because we have such great guests on.
And we want to promote them, and it's all
When was the last time we were like, man, why did we have that person on?
That guy sucks. No.
Maybe tonight's episode with the 2 guests we got.
Yeah. Around the Basket episode.
Yeah, the Around the Basket.
Yeah, so that we're very much, in a positive agreement, and it's a positive outlook. I'm not saying that this has to be negative,
okay,
but it at least lets us, if we have differing points. I mean, the whole reason I have this button,
I value your opinion, but you're wrong,
come from the time where we were
having these discussions.
Having the discussions, and you would say something and you would be wrong, and then I would tell you why you were wrong.
Well, and I think the thing is that when we try to manufacture that, it doesn't work, right? Like if you and I try to say, here's the topic, take a stance on it, it doesn't always work that way. But what happens a lot of times with you and me is I'll come up with an idea and my mouth is always faster than my brain. So by the time my idea comes out of my mouth, even I know it's wrong, but that's part of the fun and what I want out of these episodes as well. So
yeah. So in the post that I put out for Patreon, saying that this every week I'll put out a link to, well, most weeks I'll put out a link to the episode, and I'll say who's going to be on the episode. This week I kind of put it out there. I'm calling it the Free for All Monthly,
right?
Because I didn't know what really to call it. But Sam in the chat says he suggests Battle Putts as a name for this format.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Dylan, I think you guys should do commentary for some coverage this year.
Oh, I would love to do some commentary. We tried.
Well,
In should we tell them
I don't know about you. I don't know
what I'm going to tell? Well,
yeah, you can tell them.
what we've done, and it's not been anything real formal, but in an attempt to see if we could commentate, because we did talk to Matt and Andre a little bit about it, not asking specifically to be
Right.
commentating their coverage, although that would be great to do.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that Matt says, everybody thinks that they can do coverage until they have to try and do coverage.
Right.
So what we've done at tournaments, when we've been walking around and following cards every once in a while with our fun and free spirited method, is we'll start commentating to each other.
Oh, right. Okay.
Just to kind of test it out.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and that's been fun. I think it would be a great time, and
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
no, so I was just going to say at the River City Open,
Yeah.
River City Cup, when we live streamed
the third round,
the final round for the MPO and the last few holes for the FPO, you know, we had the wireless mics. We were taking it. We just had the phone, but we had the wireless mics, and we were kind of, you know, okay. So Riley's on the T of 17 here. He's going to take his out. You know, he's gone down the left hand side there. Yeah. Oh, just left himself a 20-foot putt there. Great shot from Riley. You know, that's the sort of thing we would do. But it's one thing to do that live because you're just rambling and you're trying to fill air, as opposed to, and I think you'd have to do it. You'd have to do coverage of a course that you actually played, right, or a tournament that you've played.
Yes,
because then you know the landing areas, you know what disc they're probably going to throw and things like that. So,
well, I can
something that we thought about.
I can tell you too is that now that it's cold, I've got a mini treadmill in my basement, and in the morning I'll walk on the mini treadmill. I'll have the TV on, and I've been watching the Park Pro coverage of Falcons Flight. I just finished that. I started watching some coverage of the RIP from last year to get an idea what the courses are out there, watching the New Zealand stuff. And once in a while, I'll commentate it myself while I'm walking. Especially awesome. Like an event like Falcons Flight where we've been there.
Yeah.
And we know what we're looking at. So
yeah, that's always the good thing. We watched the Park Pro coverage. I watched the BC Open. I watched Nationals last year. The larger than life, things like that. But it's hard to, like, you can watch round one and it's like a whole brand new course. You watch round two and you're like, okay, yeah, I know they kind of like to land on the left-hand side there because it's a better shot.
Right.
But when you watch the coverage of Falcons Flight, because we actually played the courses, I can now be like, oh, wow, they were like 50 feet further than where I was. I was not doing that. Oh, you know what? I birdied that hole. Oh, I parred that. You know, you've got a kind of a
feel for it.
Affiliation with it because you know the course, you know where your shots should be landing, and you know the hazards as well.
Well, you do. And an idea, and this is get your hand hovering over the button because it might be time to press the button. Maybe because we're always trying to think of a way to give some value to our Patreon members. And one of the ways we're doing that is we know that you guys want to support us, and you'd support us a lot of times no matter what we're doing, and we appreciate that, or at least we think you would. So we appreciate that. So some of the things, of course, is we want to have you live and interacting with these episodes, and we want to shout you out and give you the opportunity to watch these ones early and kind of have that more intimate setting. And then we're going to post that live out there. But I have an idea, Daryl, if you're up for it. And if our listeners want it, our Patreon members want it. So we're going to put this out there. This isn't in stone yet. But what if we get them to pick, like maybe Falcons Flight, for example, and they can pick one round. So whether it's round one, front nine, something like that. And maybe what you and I can do is we can watch it and we can record a commentary.
Well,
and then they could watch it on their own, mute it, and then listen to you and I do the commentary. Do you think that would be something?
Oh, as a live? Do you mean?
Yeah. So like we could do it as a live. I was just thinking as a pre-record thing that could live on Patreon. So it was you and I commentating one of the 9-hole rounds, and then this one Ben Loggins and Jesse Tumulty did a great job. Tumulty. Hey, you got that one. Yeah. Bing, bing, bing.
There you go.
So they did a great job on it, but maybe the second time you watch it, you might want a fresh look, and it could be you and I.
Well, maybe, we don't want to encroach on Park Pro's coverage and their IP and stuff like that. I know what you're saying. We're doing a voiceover.
We're not even going to have their filming. You would watch it yourself and listen to us.
But Dylan's been putting some great comments in the chat here. He said he was the one that said that we should he would like to see us do the coverage.
Okay.
He's like, you guys have a good setup for it. We've already got the mics. We've already got the good setup. It's a lot easier to do it comfortably there than live on the course.
Right.
Film it, then post it later with voiceovers that sound nice.
Okay.
That's, so you could film the coverage of the last round
The
of
River City Cup
River
coverage.
City Cup, film it, and then come back and do the
Oh, yeah.
voiceover afterwards.
That would be
That's
all
an
right.
idea.
Yeah.
And then he said he's been watching tournaments from the 2015-2017 era.
Oh.
Very enjoyable. I don't know the results of each round. The courses and cards have evolved. So whether that be, I don't know if you're watching like the Canadian Park Pro coverage from 2015-17. I don't know if they were recording back then, or you've just been watching some of the US tournaments. But that would be something. We talked about maybe somehow if there was some way of doing like a watch along.
Yes.
Of like the actual
like a live
the
watch.
Pro Tour, something like that. So
well,
there's options there, but I know what you're saying.
And I almost you know what I'm thinking about.
It wasn't. They would have to hit play on our voiceover and hit play on the YouTube
at the same time. That's right.
To be able to get the
and pause for commercials, or maybe we could fill in with our own commercials.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Random. Yeah.
Well, what I would say to you as well with that was, it feels a little bit like you said, not encroaching on someone else's content. So we could always ask Matt and Andre.
Yeah.
But the other thing wasn't it Mystery Science Theater 3000 or something like that did that? Wasn't it? Do you remember though? No. Okay. Remember Tabletop? We were talking about Will Wheaton and what was the lady's name? Anyways, she was on a show, and what they were is it was kind of like a science fiction type show, but they would watch a movie, and that's exactly what the show was.
Right.
And so I'll show it to you later.
Yeah, yeah.
Anybody else?
I've heard
in
of
the
it,
chat,
but I've never seen it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And then just to go back a little bit further.
Yep.
Dean has only been watching since season 2, so you've got a whole host of episodes to go back and watch, Dina.
Okay, so maybe to Sam and Dylan, because you are both very seasoned watchers, if there was one episode from season 1 that you could direct Dina to watch, which one would it be?
Good question.
And I maybe ask you that same thing.
Well, I just want to point out as well, Dylan just put up there with a question mark, commercials.
Yes.
You don't have ad blocker on your YouTube?
Oh, what are those? No, I don't have ad blocker. What is that?
That's a godsend.
I have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Skip. So what episode would you direct Dina to for one episode?
I mean, is Whiff Diff season 1?
I don't think so, actually.
Because it was
it was after episode 50.
Well, no, it would have been after this end of the season, right? Because they all left and went down to Australia. One episode from season 1.
I've got mine picked if you want me to go. Or do you want to do
go.
yours? If you're going to watch one, and because you're central, Dina, you know players from East and West, I would definitely go watch the juniors episode with Brooklyn Okrafka, Nico Forbes, and Rebecca Dawn.
Yeah.
Because the three of them were just fantastic, and it's just so cool when you can see younger kids there who really have a head on their shoulders, and it's not just that they have a skill to play a game, but they also are smart and thoughtful and have great comments, and that would be one of my episodes that I would recommend.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised, but I can understand why you would pick that junior episode.
Because I was on it.
No, that's a really good one. I mean, there's so many, like, what aspects of the episodes do you want them to see? Did you want them to, because it was a really good interview with a pro that, is a standout interview? Is it because, back in the day, Jason Tay, Dylan recommends the Disc Republic Pro from Winnipeg. Oh, the Disc Republic Pro, Brian Fries.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Why wouldn't you watch that one, Dina?
Yeah.
Right from your backyard.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good choice, Dylan. Especially for the Desert Island Disc section.
Yeah. There's like landmark episodes, right? When we first got Joe Henderson, that was a good episode because we were like, okay, we've kind of leveled up a little bit here.
That's a great one to watch too, Dina. Joe Henderson out of Calgary, FPO player there you may have come across. Just social media, and then also so involved with the disc golf scene and kind of with the players and stuff. I don't want to give too much away from it, but if you don't know, she actually works directly with a very well-known pro.
Just gonna leave her hanging on that?
Well, how are we gonna get her to watch the episode?
Okay, a very prolific FPO champion.
Yes.
On the Pro Tour.
Could we say she's a pretty prolific?
You could say she's pretty prolific.
Yeah, there you go.
She's been following Joe for a while, so you probably know who we're talking about.
Okay, there you go.
I think one episode, and I think it was just a good interview for us, and it was a good get, would be the Channel Fry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was a good episode, I think.
That was our BC Open recap where we talked to both Sophia Donica, Chandler Fry, and we also spoke with Craig Sheether.
Craig Sheether, yes.
Who was won the Volunteer of the Year award last year. So that's a pretty action-packed. And that's so you got a little bit of the US, you got a little bit of Canada, and you got a legend as well.
Exactly.
So that's cool.
So many episodes, Dina. Don't just go back and what did Sam say? Sam was saying I can't in good faith recommend anyone watch more. All I do is sit here and shop for new discs. Terrible rabbit hole. Seriously though, they're all pretty good. Thanks, Sam.
And also, Sam, we mentioned it earlier in the other episode, is welcome back. So if you don't know, Sam was down in Belize.
Yeah.
And I had a chance to chat with you a little bit there, Sam. We were trying to get you on one of these episodes, and we still will. Question was to you there, and you had said it might be happening, was you might have had a chance to get together with Randy Duke or go, is it Duke or Duke?
Duke.
Randy Duke, who's out of Belize. He does all those crazy trick shot videos and that, and apparently he's got a course down there. So the question is for you, and you can put it in there whenever you want. Did you get a chance to meet Randy? Did you get a chance to play his course? And how was it?
Dina knows who the pro is because she's watched all of season 1 of Approachable, which is Joe Henderson's and Paige Pierce,
the pretty prolific player,
the PP. Yeah, go and watch Approachable. It was a really good podcast as well.
Yeah. Well, let's keep rolling along.
Yeah.
Last week we chatted with...
Well, you just asked Sam a question. And
he's got to have a moment to answer, so we're just filling.
Fair enough.
So last week, if you didn't catch that episode, like if you were in Belize or something like that, we had Canadian FPO player Colleen McInnes on the show, chatted about Australia, the Canadian Disc Golf Tour, and then division-appropriate course layouts. We kind of dug into that a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So,
Sam said he did not get to meet him.
All right. Well, you're in Belize all the time, or people are, so maybe next time.
But we did hear that somebody may have won.
Yeah, did somebody win a tournament down there?
Yeah. Well, Sam said after I played the tournament, we shifted to more touristy stuff and didn't get much disc golf in after that. What happened at the tournament, Sam?
Tell us.
I think there's something to be said for this tournament that he would have played. I mean, if you're going to play a tournament during the winter
in Belize,
well, that's where you go. If you're going to play a tournament, you're not going to stick around Canada and
until Tundra Toss, of course.
Well, yeah,
that'd be the one exception.
The last day Sam was there, he played where Graham Walker's private course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He said
I think Sam's being a little bit modest here. He said he threw frisbees okay.
Yeah, I heard from the disc dog.
Yeah.
So I'm calling you out now there, Sam. I heard from the disc dog that maybe a couple Sams played quite well and took a win. Is that going to be a career event win? Maybe.
Yeah.
On the PDGA there.
He said he beat his rating.
That's awesome.
Played the game I wanted to play. You're beating around the bush, Sam, unless we got our facts wrong.
Yep.
See, I think this is why I like Sam, because we were on the same page. It's like...
Very modest.
Yeah, I won a tournament, but, my rating wasn't where it should have been, so I shouldn't have been in that division. Yeah, but you won the tournament. Yeah, but,
Exactly.
Come on, Sam. We need an answer. Did you win or did you not win?
All right. We'll let him answer.
Okay.
So we did mention, do you say it? the matching trophies are kind of nice.
That's awesome.
There you go. That's what we're looking for. Congratulations.
Way to go, Sam.
So Sam's got a win on his PDGA. I'm sure Dylan has a win on his PDGA. I'm sure Dina has a win. Maybe. You have a win.
And you...
I'm going to have a win on Chains, the disc golf board game. Can I put that up there?
There you go. Good enough.
So okay. When we were talking in the previous episode, do we want to hit a little bit more? Just, I think the people that are listening are either already registered for Tundra Toss, but making sure everyone knows Tundra Toss is out there. Make sure to register for that. Putting League is going on. Participate in that, improve your putting, and definitely think about coming out either for the throwing that's happening out in Edmonton, or maybe get out even to the lessons there that Gabe's going to be putting on starting Friday. So that's going to be a good time. I'm excited to do it. Every time Gabe gives me some good tips, I can't usually execute on most of the tips he gives me, but I try my best, and that's why I keep playing this game. Is just trying to get better.
Yeah. I don't want to harp on about it too long.
Okay.
There's a bit of a pun there because it's a harp on it.
Ah.
Sam, you smashed that tournament. You beat you won the MA3 division. The second place person
was 22 strokes.
22 strokes behind you.
Wow. Nice work.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then Sam won her FA3 division as well.
And Sam's FA3 would have been good enough to be second in the MA3 division.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congrats to Sam Squared.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good job.
Okay, guys. Just so you know, we put it out there to register for nationals, to make sure to get in there and do that kind of thing. And we can tell you, as promised, we did our work there, and we are both registered to go to Ontario. So that means you're going to get this duo here in Ontario trying to make some disc golf coverage, I guess, and some good scores as well in the MA40 division.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a fun time. There's so many things that we've been talked about, the things that we could be doing.
Mm-hmm.
None of it's actually concrete in stone yet, not set in stone. But from the sounds of it, there's a lot of things that could go pretty good for coverage, for chain out, for nationals. I mean, they'd be lucky to have us coming out there to do what we're going to do. But we're going to be around. We're going to be doing things. We're going to be involved.
Yeah, and if you're going out there, or if you're wanting to be part of it, we'll make sure to try and, so let's say if you don't get a chance to get out there, we're going to try and make sure that you get a feel from the people you know, your buddies at Chain Out, of what's actually happening, and get that there. If we can get interviews with players, we're going to get interviews with players. Some people want a karaoke night. We're still kind of floating that idea around. Daryl,
I kind of left all the details out because we didn't want to say.
Yeah, there's nothing promised, but we'll definitely bring you some content from nationals. It'll be good for sure. And I looked last year, there were 410 people registered for nationals, and then the biggest tournament of the year last year was the BC Open, and there was 457 people registered.
Yeah.
And we haven't even gone a week into nationals registration, and there's 501 players registered out of a total of 520, and they haven't even accepted US registrations yet. I think because it hasn't been a week. It was only the first week was all Canadian.
Exactly.
So I don't even know, are we going to get Americans, or are they going to abandon on that, or what do you think?
I mean, that's what Daryl said, right? We asked him how long the Canadian registration was going to be open for. Are they going to be vying to get some of those American names coming up? And he said, no, that's not the plan. Canadian nationals, they wanted it to be focused on Canadians. So,
but they did announce though that it is a Q Series event. It's the only Q Series in Canada for the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Right.
So that would mean that Canadians get to get the Q Series points only, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless they're quick on, unless they have, because there are, I believe there were some sponsor spaces available. I don't know if that was on the, I'm pretty sure that was on the MPO.
Oh, you mean, there was a few reserved spots in the MPO for sponsored MPOs. So maybe that is spots for Gannon and those people, or other Canadians. Like I don't think I saw Casey wasn't in there. So
Casey wasn't in there?
No, he's not in there.
No.
There's a lot of East Coast representation in the tournament, but there is a fair amount of BC people coming, and it looks like we got a chunk of Alberta, a chunk of Manitoba. So Marshall Taves, winner of the provincials in Manitoba, he's going to be out there.
Right.
So should be good that way.
I did notice a certain player registered. Well, we can say what division. Why can I not? Why is it? Why can't I? When I'm looking for it, I can't find her. But I did notice that Adina Talgoy.
Oh, Dina, you're coming out. Nice.
And I did notice, Jeremy.
Yes.
In our MA40 division.
Right.
That there's also a certain Kevin Talgoy signed up.
Oh, do you think there's a relation there?
There could very well be.
Oh, there we go. So we get to actually play with a Talgoy. Nice.
Yeah.
That'll be
The
good.
FA40, Dina Talgoy. There she is.
Yeah. And we might actually, maybe we don't get to play with Kevin. I don't know what Kevin's rating's at. There's enough people in our division that we may never see any of the people at the
round
top.
is always random, right?
Yeah. There you go. So that's all right. Now, one of
9-17.
Yeah, no.
No.
We're not going to see Kevin unless it's random on the first card on the first day.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it'll be exciting to meet him and meet Dina in person. That'll be cool. And then everybody else who we get to meet from our Ontario side for friends. Cam Zanini's in the tournament and Colleen's registered, that type of thing. So now the one thing too that I realized, Daryl, when we were looking at these tournaments is, I don't know. I know you've been wanting to run a tournament, but it doesn't seem like it's an easy job if you're going to be a tournament director.
Right.
Like here's the example. When I'm looking at nationals and I'm looking on Disc Golf Scene, and you look at the comments, and remember the registration's only been open for a week, but it's been posted for a little while before.
Yeah.
There was 90 comments on Disc Golf Scene about the tournament. And the tournament is like how many months away?
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it's hard, right? And I think it's just because it's the biggest event, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to play. But I don't know. I'm of the opinion. I mean, I think there has been a lot of talk about different things. One of them being, which courses are we going to play?
Mm-hmm.
But from my point of view, and maybe it's just because I don't get it though, because people are saying that it's the Westerners that are saying, which courses are we going to play? I need to know which courses I'm going to play because I'm not going to come all that way if I'm not going to play X course. But if you've never played any of the courses, like we haven't, like I'm sure we're going to get a practice round in at all 4 courses anyway.
Oh, definitely.
The 3 courses we're going to play will be great.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have fun. We're going to go to nationals.
Or 2 if it's 2.
Or 2 if it's 2.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see what difference, is that big of a deal for somebody that not to sign up for a tournament because they don't get to play X course, or they're being put onto 2 courses that maybe aren't as good as the other 2, which I'm not saying any of these 2 are, but some people might think you've got these 2 high-level courses and then you've got the 2 mediocre courses. I don't want to go all the way out there if I'm just playing these 2 mediocre courses, but that doesn't ring for me because you're going to practice all 4 anyway.
Well,
you're going to be playing in a nationals event. You're probably going to meet a lot of high-profile pros out there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get your signatures. You're going to do the Wombat Challenge. You're going to meet Jeff Panis probably.
Do the Crokinole tournament.
Yeah.
Gonna maybe do karaoke.
Maybe do karaoke with Shane out. So much more to it
than just the tournament.
The courses, or is that pretty much the? I mean, that's what I seen was the bulk.
Oh, with the comments.
Yeah.
Well, I thought maybe we could check a little bit out of them. We could put our TD hats on, and we could have the listeners help us out too and see what their thoughts and opinions are on that. But also with the courses, like, don't forget that this is 4 of the top 10 courses in Ontario. And Ontario has a lot of courses.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say that again. All 4 of these courses are in the top 10 courses in Ontario. So in that case there, it doesn't matter which one you play. You're not going to be able to go wrong. And we'll get a good chance to compare them maybe to what we think to some of our favorite courses in the area. Like we could say, how is it compared to Bailey's, or how is it compared to Wetaskiwin, or some of the, like, for difficulty and that type of thing there. And we'll see what we see. But yeah, I'm excited. It doesn't matter which ones we play. We're going to be nestled right there in that Newcastle area, which is right in the middle of 3 of the courses. And then of course, Gabe's amazing course, Project 15, is a little bit further north, and it'll be worth every minute of the drive. Yeah. So even if we don't get that in our MA40 division, we'll still end up there. We've got to go. We got to meet Gabe. We're going to have Gabe on the show.
Oh yeah.
He's always been supporting every single episode. He hears us mention his name, and then he'll mention that. And even if we don't mention his name, he's like, great episode. He's always giving us feedback, and it's awesome. So I can't wait to go check it out. And I can't wait to interview him because I've got some surprises that you don't know.
Oh, really?
About Gabe when we really break it down and we get to know him, not just learn about Project 15. It's going to be awesome.
I'm interested.
Yeah. You're going to say, get him on next week now, right?
Exactly.
So who do we got next week? Bump him.
Yeah.
So, but that's it. And then when we look at those questions, there's one question that came up there, which is, I don't even know if we should pay it any attention.
Yeah. I mean, we can mock it.
This is, yeah, we can mock it because this is, well, I don't know if we want to mock people. That's not really our MO. But at the same time, I think I can disagree with it.
Yeah. But I mean, do we want to highlight that question?
No, maybe we'll skip it. If you want, go on there and take a look. Really, essentially, it's somebody talking about the tariffs and maybe that type of stuff. So
okay, you want to talk about it then?
Nope, that's it. That's it. So we'll skip that one.
It's a question that's been posted across many social media accounts.
Yes. Yeah.
So you've probably seen it, but
yeah. So anyways, you get comments like that. So I guess what that says is TDs are getting comments that they should pay attention to, they shouldn't. And the one thing I'll say is I'll give Daryl the props on that, Daryl Banks, is that he's answering every question no matter what it is, and answering it as best as he can and as respectful as he can. And that's, I think, what you got to ask of a TD.
Yeah, and I think that's probably when you actually get down into it. You say there's 90 comments, but I think 50 of them are from Daryl.
Yes, yeah, just giving their as best of an explanation.
Like he starts, yeah, I mean, he starts the question. Someone will ask, or he'll put a statement out. Might be, we've made a modest change to the settings to make Canadians only the first week function better, and then somebody had a reply, and then he replied to that and replied to that. So like, there's quite a few of where he has two posts on one, or two comments on one post. So there's not as many comments as you might think with 90, but I mean, there's still 90 replies, 90 comments.
Well, the one I wanted to touch on though, and I wanted to get the feeling from the listeners as well, is the pass-through fees. So there's been a lot of comments for nationals that we're paying, depending on your division, you're either paying $180, $200, or $220. And in the case of our division, we're paying $200 to go to nationals. And there's about $100 worth of pass-through fees by the time it's done, or just under, maybe. Is it kind of around there?
I'm not sure.
But really, when we look at that, people have been kind of making a little bit of questions and comments and noise about it. And I've got some thoughts on it, and I'm just wondering what your thoughts are about pass-through fees and $100 going through.
I guess maybe I should be a little bit more transparent, because I don't really care, because I don't think it's going to come to anything anyway. But this is a question that I had from a chain out point of view. And we always talk about it where we're going to do a tournament. We're going to do a tournament. I decided, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and start getting set up on a tournament. It was a 3-disc tournament, which is still probably going to happen, but I was doing the math, and it worked out that once you purchase the sets of discs and then you register the tournament for a certain price, that you end up with X amount afterwards. Obviously, you make a profit at that point because you buy the sets in bulk. You set the registration a little bit more to cover costs and things like that. Now, the part that I wrestled with in my brain, and I never really asked anybody what the answer was whether you're allowed to keep a profit
as a tournament
director. Like we said, the amount of effort that these tournament directors put in on a bigger scale, do they do it all for free?
Yeah. Do we expect that it should be a volunteer position, and where does that come from? That somebody who's going to spend, like, if we take it even further from where you're at, and we'll continue with that, is okay, there's organizing an unsanctioned or a C tier 3-disc challenge 1-day tournament, or organizing a tournament that involves 500 players that takes a year to plan over 4 courses. And it's like, oh yeah, you can put in those hours out of the goodness of your heart. Is that the way it should be?
Exactly.
I don't know. Like, I haven't been in disc golf long enough. So people might, think we got a hot take here, but I'm like, I think it's okay that a tournament director gets some money for the effort that they're putting in.
Right. So so there's 2 things I want to say. From my point of view on that thing, my understanding or my reasoning for doing a tournament was, 1, to get experience of running tournaments, 2, to put on an event that I think that people in the area would like, and 3, to kind of sponsor Chain Out Podcast a little bit.
Right. Well, that's kind of you.
Yeah. So after speaking to somebody about it, I said, is a tournament director supposed to make money off of a tournament?
Right.
His answer was, he wholeheartedly agreed that they should. Right. And I said, okay, you're saying that as if to say, well, this is what I believe, but actually the majority of the disc golf community doesn't like it. And then it comes back to these pass-through fees and things like that. Doesn't like it when they see a big number of the money of their tournament entry fee going towards something that there's no value or whatever,
Right.
or going to a different place or whatever it might be. So when I said to this person, I said, well, when you register for a tournament and it costs X amount of dollars to get into this tournament, do you then look at the tournament and try and find out where your money is going and what, who it's going to? Like, do you care that much? Like when you registered for Wally's 100,
right,
or Nationals or Spring Runoff, you paid your entry fee, and you got your prize pack, your AM prize pack. Did you care if Rebecca or Noah took money out of it? Like, as long as you got your prize pack and it was equivalent to what it should have been, and you were taken care of, and it's not, I'm not saying that there are tournament directors out there that might put on a tournament, scrimp the bare bones. You don't get lunch, you don't get flags, you don't get markers, you don't get spotters or whatever, and the next thing you know, they're walking away with a big pocket full of money. Like, no, as long as you put on the required facilities, you make sure everyone has a good time. Lunch is provided if that's the case, if it's a that sort of event. If everything's taken care of, and there just happens to be a well-run event that there's money left over. Now the other thing is, if you're doing it as part of an association, that's what sponsors. That's how they.
That's how they would make their money.
Yeah,
right?
that's how these associations make their money. So there is a profit, and it's going to the association, which then
or a charity. There's like when Gabe runs his, they go to charity.
Exactly.
So. And I think probably what it is disc golfers feel more comfortable with it when it is going to a club or when it is going to a fundraiser for some sort of charity. I think they appreciate that. But yeah, when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking in this case here, we're going out to play 4 private courses, and each of these tournament directors or course owners, which in most cases, I think 3 out of the 4 of them are course owners. They have private property that they normally will charge a fee for people to come out, and people are happy to pay that fee to play on the weekend.
Yeah.
So now they're going to give up their course for 3 days plus the practice days.
Right.
So let's say the good part of a week they're giving up their course, and they're supposed to not take any income for that.
Yeah.
And then when you look at this and you say, okay, if they're saying it's like $20, $40, $60, $80 of the registration is pass-through fees, so they're getting $20 each per person, and they're going to be giving up their course for a week.
Not to mention the time and effort and
like that
maintenance and everything that they have to do to get these courses up to the right standard.
Yeah. And that's why I was thinking when I was seeing these kind of discussions on the pass-through fees, that's why I just don't know if it's not my experience in disc golf, but I'm like, you don't get a lot for free.
Right.
So I think that's part of it. We're getting an experience, and we're paying for that experience. Yeah. Now, I think they're going to be able to make some money in other ways as well, but I don't know if that should be the only way they make money. So if there are private courses, and I know like Hoke Goat has a restaurant and a bar on site, so they're going to be able to sell alcohol, and they're going to be able to sell beverages, and they're going to be able to sell food, and they should hopefully make some money from there.
Yeah.
But it's still a business needs money to run. So I don't know.
Do you think, okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here.
And I didn't see, sorry, before we go, what was the comment that you put up?
So Sam put out a comment that said, it's also not like this is something that you can just go one year. Well, I'm going to run a 500 plus person Nationals level Q Series A tier. No biggies. Daryl has been running successful tournaments for years.
Yeah.
And then he added, so he should get something for bringing that to the table.
Yeah, at least cover their costs at the very least.
And then Dylan also said that he thinks that they should as well.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, and this is maybe a hot take or controversial, Jeremy,
should I
get
my finger on the button?
There was, it's been a year now, so it's probably died down.
Okay.
So there was a lot of talk about how much Nationals last year cost.
Yes.
And what your prize pack, your players, your AM players pack was presented to you.
Right.
There was a lot of discrepancy about whether the money that you paid was actually you got that percentage back in a player's pack.
Yeah, and I think and go ahead, you have a question with it?
I'm wondering if now people are looking more at the pass-through fees and are thinking, look at these pass-through fees, and all I got was X in my player's pack.
Well, I think they do.
So I'm thinking they're thinking, like I was saying, is that the TD is maybe taking a bit for themselves and then just not fulfilling their players pack, or getting their value that way.
Well, I got some comments on it, and I think there's probably a misunderstanding of disc golfers in the fact that what happens is the PDGA says that you have to get 110% of your registration value back in some sort of goods. Yeah. And that's in retail value, not in the value that they pay for it. But that is after the pass-through fees. So I think what happens is you have a tournament like Nationals, and it was $200 last year in Clearwater, but they played on 2 golf courses and they played on a ski hill. So again, they would have had pass-through fees as well. So then what happens is if you didn't pay attention to the pass-through fees and see that maybe it was 125, we'd have to go back and look of what the actual amount was, and then it was going to be a value of 135 or whatever it would be, do the math.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought they were supposed to get $220 worth of value, and that wasn't the case. And I think what probably made Nationals last year have a bit of problem, because like props to Dennis Griffard, and we were going to have him on the show, but he was going through a lot at that time and wasn't able to join us, is like he put so much work into that tournament, and then to go and then to get beat up on Reddit and stuff like that about those packs.
Yeah.
But I think because it was in Western Canada, and then we had kind of a juxtaposition, or is that the right word, or an opposites of sorts, was you and I went to Falcons Flight. And when we went to Falcons Flight must have done some great fundraising. They had some great connections, all of the things that they did, because they just put together a killer
we know the reason why
player pack. We have an idea of part of it.
Yeah.
But that wasn't, but even with that knowledge that we have, there was more to it. Like there's still a ton of things. They had discs, they had the Nocquas, they had the jerseys, they had so much stuff. So I think what happened is those tournaments were so close together, and one tournament goes and gives way overboard on it, and also maybe by accident in that overboard, and then you go to the next one that maybe did go a little bit less, but not
enough to really,
but that the two of them side by side and so close together had people.
That's the only thing that I can think is why people, because it's, to me, I know I haven't been following a lot of tournaments and a lot of comments, but maybe that's why people are now more looking at, okay, what are the pass-through fees? How much is the TD taken from this to then lower that price of the actual player pack?
Well, and when you get to those player packs and the player packs for Nationals, someone said, already in this year's Nationals comment said, for $200, we better get a pack like D-Glow. They gave out Merrill shoes and that type of thing. And I understand the sentiment behind that comment.
Yeah.
But that's a pro tour event. Yeah. Do you know what kind of sponsorship those events
exactly.
have? And I don't know if you've noticed, but as big as Canadian disc golf is getting, I don't think I've seen Barbasol or
there's no Nike,
LL Bean or any of those people sponsor a Canadian disc golf tournament yet.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're not getting big names like that, there's not going to be funds for that part of it.
Yeah.
And even when you do look at some of the other big ones in the States, like Ledgestone, where you get these amazing player packs, even the volunteers who go down there, they pay like $150 to volunteer.
Yeah.
And then they do get a great pack. But I think they kind of bought the pack a little bit.
Yeah, you're paying to volunteer.
Right.
Dina said she did hear people were not a fan of the sweatshirt. I'm hoping for this year a disc. Any disc with a cool stamp to add to my tournament disc collection.
Yeah, that's a good point for sure.
Sam, players packs are great. I'm pretty jazzed to get anything. But frankly, I view entry fees as the cost of doing business to play in the events and venues I want to play in.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think Daryl brought this up to me. That and I know we kind of had a little bit of a disagreement on it, whereas he was saying disc golf is the only sport that we play that you pay your entry fee and then you actually get something back as a pack or as a like a not.
But
a
I disagree
pack.
with that.
You disagree because I know because we said about when you go if you
go to
running,
a race.
If you go to a race, you get a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, and you normally get Cliff Bars or whatever. But
I mean, snacks and that. Yeah.
Is that really the same thing as getting a player's pack? Where when you go to a race, there's no guarantee of what you're getting back, right?
Yeah, a lot of times it's pretty. What it does is it gets pretty consistent. And I think when we were talking about that, that was maybe what we said had to happen in disc golf to some extent. Is just as Dina said, one of the things that she wants to see is a disc. Now I know we have a ton of discs, and sometimes you're specifically Innova now. So if it's another brand that's not Innova, you may not throw that disc, but you've now come up with another solution to that, where you take that disc, and I think it was Duncan who gave you the idea.
Yeah, exactly. Duncan down at Falcons Flight, when I think I played with him on round 2, and he pulled out the disc that he got in the players pack, and it already had 4 signatures on it, because what his idea was, and I thought it was a great thing, and I actually did it at the Queer Disc Golf event, is that take your sponsored, your fancy disc with the great, like Dina said, she's going to put it in her tournament disc golf collection.
Yeah.
But what better than having a disc than isn't having the memories of all the people that you played with from every round. Take that disc with you. Everyone's got space in their bags to put in 1 extra disc. Everyone's got Sharpies on them. If not, someone on your card will have a Sharpie.
Definitely.
Take that disc, get it signed by everybody on your card on the first, second, third round. Whether you throw it or not, you've got a disc then with the memory of that event, and it's a little bit more standout to me.
Yeah, and for guys like us who are not likely getting medals or trophies, we kind of made our own trophy at that point.
There you go.
But
Absolutely.
I guess to the point I was going to make with that, and that's I think a great thing to do with a disc, is that maybe that's part of it. You need to get a disc at a tournament. That's just what it is. So when you're doing a players pack, right now we've put a dollar amount on it, but maybe there is like a minimum requirement, and we focus more on what the minimum requirement is.
Yeah.
But we say you can definitely go more, and you're encouraged to go more, but this is the minimum acceptable items. And it'd be like, maybe, how you've seen things like when you have tiers and levels of stuff, like when you win prizes, and if you have this amount of tickets, you get there and stuff. Don't press it yet. Oh, I thought you were gonna press the I'm wrong.
No, Dylan just put in the comments that he always carries a Sharpie because you never know when you'll ace.
Oh, that's exactly it.
Sorry,
well, you never know when Dylan will ace.
Yeah.
Yeah. With us, it's pretty rare.
Well, I know when I'm gonna ace. It's gonna be hole 12.
13 at Hermitage.
13 at Hermitage. Sorry, carry on.
But I was gonna say was maybe that's it. Is like you have this level, so it is like a jersey, a disc, a hoodie maybe, and those are, it's like you can pick something from up here, and then you need to have something from here and something from here. You can put that together, whatever. Like, do we have to get to that point to make sure that everybody on one side is clear on what a player's pack looks like, and on the other side ensures that the TDs put together something that meets the requirements, as opposed to just saying it has to be this dollar value?
I agree, but I also can see the other side of the argument. And the other side of the argument will be, you know what? I've been playing this sport for 5 or 10 years, Jeremy. I've got so many discs. I don't need another disc.
GoPro.
GoPro. People will
give
say,
it away to somebody who just wants to start and learn disc golf.
But then they're not getting anything from it. So they would say, "Oh, I don't want a disc. I want a jersey."
They got the experience of a tournament.
Oh, I'm 100% with you. You paid to enter in a tournament. Whether you get anything or not is a bonus. But the PDGA created the rule that said you should get 110% value. And the good thing about that is they've just said it can be whatever you want. It just has to be 110% value.
Yes, but that's where the problem happens.
Then that's when the problem happens, because then the TDs can interpret that and, make deals or get retail value versus, market value, whatever it might be.
And how do you determine retail value in certain cases, right?
Exactly, right? So you're never going to make everybody happy. If you say, okay, the minimum you get is a disc, you're always going to get people that say, I don't need another disc. I'd rather have a t-shirt. Some people will say, I don't wear t-shirt. Cash is king.
Yes.
I don't wear t-shirts. I prefer jerseys. I'm never going to wear a t-shirt. Some people will get jerseys and they'll say, I only play on a certain amount. There's only 7 days in a week. I don't play 7 days. I don't need another shirt. I need a disc.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking,
there's no way you can keep everybody happy.
Yeah, I'm not worried about keeping everybody happy that way, but I am worried about a standard. So I'm even going to the point of saying, okay, the level for a C tier is the expectation is a disc. If you do anything more than a disc for a C tier, then that's great. Pat yourself on the back that you got a TD who got a good sponsor and figured it out for you.
Right.
If it's a B tier, now you've got a disc plus, and whatever the category is of plus.
Right.
If it's an A tier, it's a disc plus plus, and that's it. And then these are the things that have to be in that pack. And then also too, like I think that's really the main thing to me, is just set it out a little more structured. And then at that point, people can't complain. And as you said, yes, people are going to complain about things, but they're the same people who are always going to complain. But at least if it's clear, they're only complaining because they're complainers. They're not complaining because the TD did it wrong. The TD did exactly what they were supposed to do.
Yeah. And I think that was one of the comments that somebody had put on there about releasing the divisions and which courses they were going to be playing.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had put a post that they'd gone into the PDG rules to say that TDs have up until one day before the tournament to announce which divisions are playing which courses.
Yeah, so if they really wanted to adhere to the rule like that.
Exactly. So they're doing what, they're not doing anything illegal or nasty. They're doing it within the rules. It's just that people in other events maybe have released it earlier, or they're used to getting it, or they want to know, so they feel like they have a right to know.
Well, and here's the thing that I understand about nationals, or at least what I was kind of getting about it, was I think it might have been more of a last minute thing, in the fact that they wanted to announce nationals for 2025 at the 2024 nationals, and they did. But I don't know how much time before that Daryl really had to know that he had it or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So they announced that. So now these guys are, okay, we've got nationals. We got to plan this thing. They don't even know how many people are going to show up. And you want them to say which courses you're playing. They picked 4 courses so they could handle 500 people. What happened if only 100 people registered? Okay, so we have this division, like, you got 12 people on each course.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't have happened. They would have cut courses. They would have made changes. So I think now that they have 500 people and they know exactly what they're dealing with. And I don't know if you did the math.
No.
Have you done 500 times 200?
No. Oh, I know. I can work it out.
What's that?
500 times 200? Oh, sorry. No, 500 $100,000?
$100,000.
Yeah.
So we talked about Callum Mathers in the previous episode waking up the next morning on Kickstarter to $10,000. Daryl and the team are waking up to $100,000.
Right.
So now that they know they have $100,000 to plan this tournament, things are going to start happening. And I think we're going to start seeing things announced in that. So it'll be, yes, we do have all 4 courses. We can make this happen.
Right.
Yes, we can do all of the things we had in our mind, because they can't. The worst thing would be is like, oh yeah, guys, everybody's going to play 3 courses no matter what. We're going to spread you out. It's going to be great. And 100 people register, and they can't do that.
Right.
So instead, it's like, be patient, wait till what's happening. And now that we've seen this thing is filling up,
oh yeah,
I think it was fair. I think they
Yeah.
did the right thing so far.
Yeah.
And that's an unsponsored take too.
Exactly. On your C tier disc, B tier disc plus, A tier disc plus plus.
Yes.
Dylan says that alleviates or clears expectations. And as much as I want to push the button, I do actually agree with you.
Oh yeah. Woo.
That's what it should be. Like you said, there should be a standard. If everyone knows, then there can be no argument.
Yeah, you can argue. Then we're arguing differently. We're saying, oh, I really didn't like this disc because I throw X disc and this was Y disc and I don't like it.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, we can have that argument all day long. I don't have a problem with that argument.
Right.
But the problem was with the Nationals last year, and it hurt. Like, I think Dennis Griffard was really torn up from it.
Oh, yeah.
Was he found a great hoodie, which I still wear. I've worn that thing almost out. I've got holes in it already because I wear it all the time. But it was a hoodie, and he put this together and thought these items would be something people wanted, and then they didn't, or they didn't think it was enough, or whatever the case was. And in this case here, it's like, yeah, let's argue about the disc, because that's an argument we can all have. We can have that opinion, but it hurts more when it's like, you just didn't deliver on my expectation.
But then again, if you go to an event that's sponsored by Innova and you get your disc and it's like, oh, this is an Innova disc? God, this sucks. I don't throw Innova. Well, then why did you go to an Innova sponsored event?
Yeah.
If you're going to if you're going to D-Glow, you're going to be getting a Discraft disc, whatever. Yeah. It may not just be C tier a disc. It could be a disc and something else. Like, we're not saying that is just what is expected at a C tier. Whatever it might be, but there should be A, B, C standards. If you want to give more, give more. But the expectation is this. Yep.
And there we go. So we've solved it. You remember the very first episode? We had we had Pro Tour solved.
Yeah. Who did we send the email to?
Yes, exactly. Well, I think it's just all the
Brian Henniger
listeners who will be listening.
We know Brian Henniger.
Yeah, that's right. But if they ask us to put it together and figure it out, I don't know if I want that task. I think I like to throw out the ideas, but someone can execute it. So Daryl, I think I that's all I got for nationals right now, except for the fact is that if there's something you want to see at nationals, if you're not attending and that we can somehow bring to you, you have an idea, whether it's like, guys, I'd really love to see, I've heard a lot about this hole. Can you guys get us some coverage of people playing that hole? Or, if there's a person you want us to try to talk to and get a quick interview with, maybe we can get a 5-minute conversation with them. We'll try that. What other kinds of things like that? We've talked about even going so far. None of these things are in stone, but we've talked about whether we set up shop on a hole and kind of just commentate and watch PDGA live and then maybe interview players as they come through. We don't know what we could do, but what would really help is if you can tell us what you want to see, then we can pitch that stuff to the tournament directors and see if we can make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a reason why this all works. It's because Jeremy says, I wonder if we could do this. And I'm like, okay, I know what I can do. And I got the technology to do it. Going live on a hole random in the middle of nowhere.
Well, the thing
requires power and internet and battery life and all these sorts of things. Somewhere to sit, somewhere to set microphones up if that's the way we're going.
Well, it's not a
We'll
question
try.
of can we do it? It's just how will we do it? Because we know we can do it.
see how much you've changed. A minute ago it was like, who do we send the email to? Well, I don't want to do any of that. I'm gonna rub my hands of that. Someone else can do that.
When it's content creation, I'm up for it.
Now it's you don't want to hear a no for an answer. It's how can we get this done?
I am very finicky that way, I will admit. So, well, Daryl, what else did you want to hit on here? I think you had something in the notes that you wanted to talk about.
I mean, we can this one right here.
Whichever you want.
We can talk about it just quickly if you want to.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know from the chat, and I want to speak to you as well. Does everybody? And it's early on in the season, but the tournaments are already getting out there. If you look at disc golf scene, it's starting to fill up.
And in some cases, our players have already played some too, like Sam.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Sam said if you're going to do tournament coverage, maybe consider she's up first. Not like you could be playing, right?
Yeah, well, we did volunteer last year.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be volunteering again.
I wonder if we could do a live commentating of the lead card. Because the one thing I'll tell you that I really appreciate about the FPO and following them around and seeing them at the different events is the vibe is so loose and kind of friendly and fun. There isn't a lot of
positive.
It's very positive. And not that the MPO isn't, but sometimes the MPO is a little more focused and people get a little bit more antsy in that. So one of the things, if we were following and recording, if we did it the way Dylan said, and we just recorded it and then did some commentation afterwards, commentating afterwards, that'd be okay. But if we wanted to actually commentate live as we were walking around,
right,
FPO would probably be more receptive to that than some of the MPO cards that are out there. So
well, there wouldn't be any MPO on.
No. That's what I mean. That's why it would be a good one to do.
No, exactly.
So
something to consider. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah. So tournaments.
But what I wanted to know is tournaments. Now the tournaments are being filled up on disc golf scene. Does everybody know? Has everybody signed up for what? Does everybody know what tournaments they're going to be playing for this year? So I'll start with you, Jeremy. You can answer.
Well,
you might, because I know last year we did it.
Yes.
We had a list of like, okay, these are my 6 that I want to hit. These are 3 maybes and whatever it kind of worked out. Do you have a solid?
I do. I actually have a list right now, and I'm going to keep my list fairly tight at the moment because what I found last year was I started with a bigger list. And when I did that, then I also wanted to put in a whole bunch of pop-up tournaments. So whether it was the Alberta Hospital fundraiser and that, and then I think I got not too many tournaments for me in the fact that I enjoyed it, but maybe too many for my disc golf /work/life balance.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping the list a little shorter this year, and I'll give you a kind of an idea. So I'm already registered for Tundra Toss. Okay. So I'm playing that. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Then I've got flagged on here. This is just what I've got flagged. I've got flagged Spring Runoff, River City Cup, Tournament Capital Open, the Edmonton Open, which I can't play both. So I think it's either if I go to Tournament Capital Open, that's the one I'm playing because they're same weekend, or I'm going to the Edmonton Open, one or the other.
Yeah.
Falcons Flight and Nationals. So that's what I've got kind of lined up here. But the other ones that I don't have on
not
here,
as many as
no, and I think one of those won't be played. So that list is a little bit bigger.
So,
but There is
Okay.
2 more. I know. See, this is the problem. This is the rabbit
Okay.
hole. So the other 2 that I'm thinking is that the NADGT, so the amateur national event, is going to be held at WJ Homestead.
Right.
And I played that course last year. I loved it. I love what Kevin King's doing to build that event in Canada.
Yeah.
So I want to play that. But there's a catch to that. You can't just go play the national event. You actually have to show that maybe you played an NADGT event to qualify for it. And the nice thing is in Canada, because it's still a growing division and a growing league, however you want to call it, an event, is that as long as you play any NADGT event, then you can go to the nationals and you can register for it.
Right.
So then I've got to play one of those, and then I got to play
Right.
WJ Homestead.
So which one is the one you think you might be?
I saw
Is
there
there
was
one
a.
you're looking for?
You had just mentioned that there was going to be a 1 day at Curry coming up.
Yeah.
So I think I might play that one. I wanted to play Spring Runoff because last year Spring Runoff was NADGT, but this year it's not. So I think I might end up in Calgary to play the Curry NADGT event. So that's my list. What are you looking at?
So my list is a little bit less than your list. Last year, like I'm the same as you. We kind of got really excited. Like that was our first year full tournament for me anyway.
Yes.
The year before I'd only done Battle 6. This was going to be the first full year touring. This is going to be the first full year entering tournaments. So it was packed any weekend that we could get away. This year, the only one that I've signed up for. So out of those ones, you didn't tell me which ones you've signed up for.
Oh, Nationals and Tundra Toss. Those are the only ones that signed up has been available for. So
right, okay, that makes sense. So I'm signed up for Nationals.
Yeah.
On my list is Tundra Toss, but I'm not going to be playing it. I'm going to be volunteering.
Right.
The Edmonton Open.
Okay.
Which I will probably play.
Unless you go to TCO.
I will not be going to TCO.
Oh, it's already been decided?
Were we meant to be?
Yeah, we got invited by Clive and Carrie to go out.
Was that TCO?
Tournament Capital Open out in Kamloops?
That was DC Open.
Nope.
I don't remember. Okay, well maybe.
So now you have to rethink.
Yeah, I already think that one. I've got Falcon's Flight, but I'm not sure.
Watching the coverage, didn't it just make you like? It was one of those things where when we did it, it was built up so big, and it definitely delivered on a lot of things. But sometimes something can be built up too big,
right?
And I think there was a little bit of that. But not too much, but I just think you put something on such a high pedestal.
Yeah.
And it did get there, but if you put the pedestal too high, that's on us.
Right.
But I think now that I'm looking back at it and I've watched the Park Pro coverage,
right,
I've realized that it was us who put it on that pedestal because it was really that's a beautiful course and a great event.
Right.
Yeah. But sorry,
did you have that? Did you have that on your list?
I do have it on my list.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So we don't talk about it, Sam, except I bring it up all the time.
What's that?
Sam said that I have to go back to get retribution.
You do. That's a great reason, Sam. Like 100%, because I think, tell me this, if you went back to that tournament and you go to the East course and you play hole 11?
Is this when I'm in a fetal position? No,
hole
12.
Hole 12. So you go to hole 12. It's a par 5. You've got this memory of what happened and you go out and you birdie it or you par it. Is that not making your whole year almost? it totally erases the memory of the 17. The 17 never happened. And now that's your birdie hole.
I don't know. I mean, I would like to go back. There's part of me would like to go back to show that I could actually play the course properly and, and do better than I did and not just have a breakdown at subsequent holes as well. Cause that, my game just went downhill after that. I didn't care anymore. So I think, there's a little bit of me that would think I want to go back and eradicate that, but also I've kind of let it go.
Yeah.
So
it's a game after all.
Yeah. To me, it's not that big of a deal. I don't mind if I don't go back there again. Again, same as you, we did build, everyone was saying, oh, Falcon's Flight, it's the best thing. It's a gathering of disc golf. It's like, this so big. You got to go. If you go to one tournament this year, go to this one. They built it up so much and that's what we were expecting. And like you said, it did deliver on so many things. But if we look back on it now, at least now you have the ability to be like, okay, well, I know what to expect now. I know what the courses are like. I know how the events are going to be run. I know what the evening activities are going to be like, if there's going to be any. If I'm just going to, whatever that might be. So at least you have some better expectation of what the event is going to be like.
And I do like it still. If I think about my tournaments last year, there's some tournaments that I have to go, oh, right, I played that tournament, but I don't have to do that with Vulcans. So I
Right.
think that's why I think after the fact, it leaves a lasting memory for you, and beyond, of course, the scores and everything else. Like it gives you a memory of that. And I think we had some fun. We did a lot of we had some fun there.
It was a good connections event. We definitely got to meet a lot of people that in person.
Yeah, and somebody got to photobomb the
Yeah.
Parked Pro coverage.
Check out the Instagram if you haven't seen my photo bomb on the Park Pro coverage that I eventually got to see, but you sent it to me as soon as you saw it. But there was a few other times that I show up on the in
Yes.
the coverage as well.
At the
on
end
different
there.
holes and flyovers and stuff like that.
Oh, did you see on a flyover?
Yeah, I'll show you later. It's nothing
Okay.
really anything special, but
That's cool.
So at the moment I've got Tundra Toss, the Edmonton Open / TC Open, Falcons Flight, and Nationals.
I think that is actually a good way to do it because you have a local event, possibly 2 local events. You've got an Alberta event. You've got Nationals, which is just an amazing one. And if we get out to TCO, I'm telling you, that's a set of courses. And now that Rose Hill is back in the game,
Right.
and to be able to get out there and to see Kerry, and then again, that same group that travels in Western Canada, heads up to that one. So Thomas has played it a number of years. I think he has to head back this year because he's on is he on a 3-peat or a 2? He's on 2 or 3 wins in a row at TCO.
TCO was his 3-peat.
Yeah, so he's got to go back to defend his title. So get to meet him in person, which you haven't done yet. So
no. I noticed you didn't say River City Cup.
No, I did have River City Cup on there.
You did?
I do have it as one of my ones listed. So I think that might be the way it could work is I could play River City and then go out to Kamloops for tournament, Capital Open.
I didn't have River City because, one, I don't think it's listed yet. But even if it is, I'll be volunteering at that one as well.
Okay.
I'm going to speak to Brock and see if he needs any help.
But that was where like 2 of your highest rounds were last year.
I know.
Yeah.
But I really took to heart that thing that Carrie said that Craig said.
Yes.
Volunteer or
play 5, give 1.
Play 3, play 5, give 1.
Yeah.
I played in a lot of events last year. We volunteered at Get In, Get Out, Get Rated, if you want to call that volunteering. We also volunteered at She's Up First. And I played a handful of tournaments. So this year, with being on the Edgar board, I feel like I should probably volunteer at Edgar. I should volunteer at Edgar events to support the board and everything like that. Sorry, I just seen a post by Dylan. He's have a bachelor party that weekend. Is that your bachelor party?
Oh.
Is he getting married?
I think.
Is he already married?
I think he might already be married.
Maybe it's somebody else's bachelor party then.
And then what weekend are we talking there?
Also, Sam just wanted to let you know that River City Cup is an NAGGT
affiliated. Baby. Thank you, Sam.
You won't have to travel for that one, he says.
Yeah, I still might go down to Currie because I go down to Calgary usually once every 4 to 6 weeks to visit family and that. Right. And to do the Currie one, it's a 1 day. So I always like that. I think I want to do some of those. What do you feel about those? Doing the 1 day tournaments where it's either 2 rounds in 1 day or I think 2 rounds in 1 day.
I don't know if I would travel for one.
Right. But if there was one put on local, is that something that you would be like more apt to do? Yeah, exactly. Sponsored by Chainout and supporting Edgar.
Sam said he's definitely going to try and get down to Spring Runoff and Falcons Flight this year. Low-key might go back to Belize for something in November, December. That's at the end of the season, so that would be a good tail off at the end of the season there. Dylan said he's definitely going to get down to Alex Penny's Flex C tiers. He's got like 5 of them throughout 5+ throughout the year. Is that
that's those Friday night ones?
Friday night get in, get out, get rated.
Oh, I don't know if that's the same ones that he's thinking, but it must be because those would be C tiers in order to get a rating.
Right.
Yeah, and I think
so. That's probably what Sam is talking about there. Dylan. Dylan's also saying he's going to do Night Owl.
Okay, yeah, we haven't played Dream Valley. I think we got to go out there just to play a practice round.
Sorry,
at least.
Night Owl. Yes, I was thinking Hidden Gem.
Nope.
Which is
that one's Athabasca.
Which is that's what I was planning to do. Was the local ones, the Edgar ones, was volunteer, and then play the ones which was a bit further away.
Yeah.
Just to try and go back to them and see if I could beat my. See, now you got me into this competitive. You got to go back and beat what you did last year.
Well, and then maybe too is like if you play Night Owl, that is a treed course. So it either helps you for parts of Athabasca, Wetaskiwin, or Falcons, that kind of thing.
I don't think it's a friend's bachelor party.
Oh, for River City Cup for that weekend.
Sam said, "Oh, that's way better than my excuse for missing RCC." What? We don't need to go into that.
So yeah, well, that gives us an idea, and we know we want to see all you guys out there, and we want to play with you whenever we can. I love playing with Sam and with Dylan as well.
Yeah.
And what we'll have to do, Dina, is when we are at nationals, if we can hook up together there and we could play a practice round, and then you and Kevin can show us, even though it's your first time on the course, where we should be throwing our discs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the time of the year that all the courses are coming out. People are getting excited. They're doing exactly what we're doing. We're trying to plan which one they can go to, which one doesn't line up. If they have two on the same weekend, they have to make a decision.
Yeah, and if you do decide to post, like a lot of players have been posting out what their schedule is, if you decide to do that, tag us in it, because we'd love to see what your schedule is.
Yeah.
And I guess if we do put out ours, if we official it, we can put it out too, maybe.
Ours?
Like your schedule and my schedule, like chain out schedules. But yeah, I don't know. That seems pretty cool. I think that's good to talk about, and it's good to start planning now, because if you don't make the decisions now, they come up really quick, or you miss out, right? Just like you don't register fast enough, like Falcons, as we talk about. So Dina, if you're thinking of coming back out to Falcons, as you know, it's register as soon as it opens, like be on the button.
That's what Sam was saying. Was same with
Night Owl.
It fills up fast.
There you go. Well, Daryl, where are we sitting for time?
Oh, it's a Patreon episode, Jeremy. We can go as long as we want.
Well,
but it's up to you.
If everybody's still in on it there. Well, I got one last thing then.
Okay, last thing. We'll wrap it up.
I created a document, and I said, Daryl, don't look. That was my document.
Do you want to open it on yours?
Yeah, I'll open it on mine.
But I have to show it, though.
You don't have to show my document.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's nothing to show.
Oh, no, right. Yeah, I remember what you were talking about earlier.
So this isn't really per se Jeopardy or something. We'll bring that back for sure. We'll do that on another night when we have a guest. But one of the things I was thinking about was, how well do we know our Canadian players that are sponsored?
Right.
So what I did was I went out, and I'm going to get to my document here. Just give me a sec.
Do you know what I need to do?
What's that?
I need to come up with a game, because this is like 3 or 4 weeks in a row where I've been the guinea pig.
Well, it's not really. This one is just, I guess it's a game. It's a test, and we can get people to. And what it is I was thinking about Canadian sponsored players, and this is of all sorts. This isn't just FPO, MPO. This is FP40. This is even players who are just sponsored for different things they do in disc golf.
Okay.
And I was trying to figure out how many Canadian people do we have, and these are ones that we know. So here we go.
Right.
First question, I'm going to make it easy for you.
Go for it.
Can you name 3 players Canadian sponsored by Innova?
3 Canadian players sponsored by Innova.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go, who is Rebecca Dawn?
Yes, correct.
Does it have to be in the form of a question?
No, only if you want to.
Who is Nico Forbes?
Yes, correct. Come on. Is it because I put the pressure on you?
Yeah.
There's like one, you just bought a disc.
Who is Sophia Donica?
Yeah, I was going to say, come on now.
I would have got it. Who is Miles Ladder?
Yes, exactly. And to add to that list, if you didn't know, Marty.
Who is Brock Cicchetti?
Yes, Brock Cicchetti. If you didn't know, our
5.
president of EDGA is also an ambassador for Innova. So Martin Hendel.
Yeah.
Stuart McKissick.
Right.
Chris Hartman.
Oh, yeah.
Alexandra Paletto just got sponsored by Innova.
Yeah.
So that's a number of them. So I kind of want to fill these lists out so that we know when we are buying discs from our favorite manufacturers and that, before we go, and we want to support the stores in that, but we also want to support the players. So if the store doesn't have a player's disc, we could reach out to some of these players and maybe buy theirs and support them.
Yeah.
So, okay, now you're going to go to my side. Can you name, just make you do 3. I'll try to make you do 3.
Okay.
Can you do 3 from MVP? Canadian sponsored players.
Who is Gabby Lee?
Yes.
Who is?
Can you get it right?
That person.
No, you got to do it.
Who is Chance Stad?
Yes,
I got it right.
You got to cut that one and put that as a teaser there that we got it right. Yes, Chance Stad. And can you name one more?
Sorry, 1 second here. Sam did not know that I think Brock is on
Oh,
his team. Yeah, he is an ambassador for Team Innova. So Brock's got the hookups for your Mirages, Sam.
nice.
Simon Lazat. I mean, is he
Well, I
Canadian?
guess he lived in
Thanks, Sam.
Vancouver.
Okay, Gabby, Chance Dad, and I'm going to say,
And I'll give you hints if you want for your third one.
give me a province. Or
Well, I'll give you. She was actually a question. So first of all, it's she was actually the answer to a question in Jeopardy, and pretty famous that we haven't talked to yet. But we're
Elaine
going.
King.
Yeah. So
Oh,
Elaine King is
who is
sponsored by
Elaine King?
MVP too.
Nice.
And then there's another person that plays in MP or MA50, Michael Ramanoskis, and he's from BC. So like I said, I just want to try and get those built up.
Okay.
All right. How about Discmania? Give me 3 Discmania Canadian players.
Easy.
Okay.
Who is Max Rajitnik?
Yep.
Who is Miguel Alvarado?
Yep.
Who is Daisy? I think she is. Isn't she?
I don't know if she's sponsored.
All right. Let's not say Daisy.
Hopefully Daisy is, and if you are, then congratulations. If you're not, hopefully they sponsor you soon.
So 3. Okay, so Miguel Alvarado. Oh no, I don't know if he is or not. Mason Howard? Is he still wishing?
No, Mason's still wishing.
Still wishing.
Who's Miguel's buddy?
Oh, Nick Culver.
Yeah, Nick Culver. And then Ezra Lockington, young guy out of Ontario.
Yeah.
Also, Julian Quenville.
Right.
So Juju out of Quebec.
Yeah,
so he's, I think he's an ambassador.
Yeah.
And then Dylan Gowdy, who we interviewed in PEI.
I didn't know they were sponsored athletes.
All right. Thought Space. Got 3 for Thought Space. You know all 3, but you may not know that you know all 3.
Who is Karen Martell?
Correct.
Thought Space.
Come on.
Yeah, and Sam said Nick is American.
Well, yes, he is American. I would agree, Sam. You're right. He's spending a lot of time in Canada, so I gave him a pass on that because he's actually on the right side.
Thought Space, Canadian.
Anybody who might throw big, huge bombs and.
Oh, of course. Thomas Gilbert.
Yes, exactly. And then one of the people that who thought that they were going to beat us when we were picking for the rip.
Chris Oslins?
Yeah, Chris Oslins is sponsored by Thought Space as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I found, at least when I was doing my Googling.
Tommy G is TSA.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a...
Come on, Big Maple.
I've got a couple more for you. You ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
Prodigy.
Chantel Bedinsky.
Check.
Thomas Hums.
Oh, is he? That would be one FI. I didn't know that one. I should add that here.
I'm pretty sure Thomas Hums is Prodigy.
Okay.
Casey Hannemeyer.
Yeah.
Noah Higgins.
Perfect. That's what I had. I had Casey, Noah, and Chantel. I want to fill it, like I said, I want to fill this list out. So if anybody does know other players sponsored that are Canadian, let's get a real list going.
Not sure about Alicia, but I'm pretty sure Thomas is.
Okay. Well, we'll verify that one and add it.
Yeah.
I got one. I've only got 2 names here.
Okay.
Latitude 64.
Ooh, Brooklyn Okrafka.
Yeah, that's one. The other one we haven't talked to, from BC. It's a name you're going to know, but it's not a name that you know well. But you're going to know it when we say it.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Castoplast.
I don't know that you're going to guess it, though.
Give me initials.
BH. H, sorry, for the English friends.
H. MPO?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Probably.
No, I don't know.
Brett Hanna.
Oh, okay.
So he's sponsored by Latitude.
Yeah.
Okay, got 2 more for you.
Brett Hanna and Brooklyn Okrafka. Good job, Sam.
Oh, nice job, Sam. Equin Discs. Got 2 for you.
Kevin Beamish.
Yeah.
Terry Heiserbaum Hong.
There you go. Perfect. And then I do have Castoplast, and I have 3, and they're all ladies.
Yeah. Kat Johnson.
Yeah.
Julie Mowens.
Correct.
I mean,
and
one of the other Mowens.
No. This the last one came on our show because they would do anything for the TD. I don't know that they really wanted to talk to us. No, I just joking. They obviously love talking to us.
That would be Christy Lee.
Yeah, of course. And we know we're just kidding around there. We know that Christy was more than happy to join us
She
for
would love being
LTL.
on the podcast.
Yep. So that was my list. So that's a pretty good list of Canadians that are sponsored players.
Yeah.
And it's all around, right? Because sometimes it is FPO, MPO, sometimes it's MA50, other times it's ambassador. So it's really cool to see that they are supporting Canadians. But I'm sure if I took more time, I could dig into other manufacturers as well.
Yeah.
You did pretty good.
Did I impress you?
Yeah, I was going to use those for Jeopardy questions,
Right.
but I felt like I don't know if I could have. It might have been just too hard by itself.
Right.
Right. So
I'm just trying to think, is there any other manufacturers that you didn't mention?
Oh yeah, there was lots. Like I know Carrie Neal used to be sponsored by Westside. I didn't do any Westside in there. I don't think I did. I looked through Discraft, but I couldn't find any Canadian Discraft players. So if anybody knows one.
That's why I don't like Discraft.
Oh, is that it?
That's one of the reasons.
But they got Paul, Ricky. They're like stacked now.
It's a bad move for Ricky.
To be with his brother-in-law?
Yeah.
All right. We'll leave it at that.
Does anybody else think it's a bad move for Ricky to go to Discraft?
Well, I think out of his choice of what he had there, of course he could have went to MVP.
Well, we don't know what his choice was. We don't know what numbers and money.
His choice was not to get the $1 million he was supposed to get, and then just suck it up and take whatever they gave him. But I think I don't think I would stick around if I was like in that case there that they didn't. I don't know. Who knows what it was?
Dynamic Disc?
Yeah.
Right. Name them.
them.
They who shall not be named. No, obviously he was going to move. It was a good decision for him to move.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he should have gone to Dynamic.
Where would you? Where would you have put him? You put him on Innova.
I wouldn't necessarily put him on Innova. I thought maybe that was where Innova was going. I thought maybe they got rid of Germ
to make space.
Yeah, and I thought that's what they were doing. I don't think they were going to. Everybody says that Innova's selling off players. I think they're being very strategic about who they promote, who they sponsor, and I think they're being savvy about this player doesn't give us this amount of this money doesn't justify this contract.
Right.
And even looking at like Ken Climo, we've had this player, he is Mr. Innova sort of thing, but he wants this much and he's not giving us that back. To have that, there's no not loyalty. I think loyalty is the wrong word, but not to have that attachment to be like, oh well, it is Ken and he is Mr. Innova, so we need to we'll give him what he wants, sort of thing. For them to be like, it's a business, we need to make money. This deal, it doesn't make sense for us. We don't see we're going to get a benefit out of it. And I think from listening to interviews, I think he was having conversations a lot earlier than
it was happening a year ago.
Yeah, exactly.
They were talking, and they were able, and in that case, Discraft was able to give him what he wanted. And I don't know that Innova was ready to give Climo, but that kind of got us off topic of where Ricky should go.
Yeah,
you didn't give me an answer yet, and I'm putting the pins to you.
Well, I did. I said kind of.
You said no. Who should Ricky have gone to? You said Ricky shouldn't have gone to Discraft. So where should he have gone?
Anywhere but Discraft or Discmania. Because I think he's competing with too many high-level players.
I think, and this might be a little bit of teaser into next week, I think he should have been a Discaper.
He should. They're a good brand of discs.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of jacked. Ricky did leave Dynamic. Maybe harps in premium plastic will come back down to earth price. Marks.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Sam likes his harps.
That's for sure.
Dylan says that, yes, I would have said that Ricky should have gone to Innova. Ricky should have gone to Doomsday Discs.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Like there is something to be said about that open bag type setup where you have some discs and you have an open bag. Because I think would a player like Ricky with an open bag be able to just have every perfect disc so you could just pick and choose from each manufacturer and then maybe like with Doomsday throw your 3 Doomsday discs
Yeah.
To have that, throw him on those easy par threes or something like that, so that he can, unless he really likes them and he gets to know them.
Right.
But sometimes those brands have to take some time to get established. But then if he could have his favorite Innova disc, his favorite Discmania disc, his favorite Dynamic disc, his favorite Discraft disc, his favorite MVP, work your way all the way through, he might be unstoppable at that point.
Yeah, but like Dylan says, he's going to sell plastic there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think no matter where he went.
Well, did you see? I put out my little joke there. Did you get it?
No.
Okay, so someone asked it we were on the Park Pro Discord, and they said with Ricky going to.
Oh yeah, I did that joke.
Yeah. You understood it, right?
Yeah. What was it?
So I kind of put out there was somebody had said, is when Ricky goes to Discraft, is he going to throw the Raptor? And I'm just always thinking of the captain's Raptor.
Yeah.
And the captain is Paul Ulibarri, so I thought they should name it the captain's brother-in-law's Raptor, and that's what Ricky's disc should be.
I'm surprised he got the Raptor, because like you said, that's the captain's Raptor. It's Ulibarri's disc.
He's got a connection.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, we appreciate that you've been hanging in there. We hope you like this format. We'll do this once a month. If you've got ideas that you want us to toss around or you want to hear us talk about, we'll take those always into consideration.
If you have any questions, we put the post up normally on Mondays or Tuesdays with the link for this episode. In the comments of that post on Patreon, throw in questions. If you have any questions for us, any topics you want us to talk about, throw them in there. We'll get to them. That's what this part of the, we're going to bring back the course reviews. I think we've got a couple more courses that
we could definitely do
that we've played together in the Edmonton area.
Yeah, and I'll dig it up. It's going to be a while back. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you like I always do, but I'll dig back and I'll find out where we were.
Right.
I'll find out where we were in our ratings, and I think, did I have Niska close to the top at the point or something like that?
No, I think we'd done Rundle and Hermitage by then, hadn't we?
Yeah, but we'll go back to them and we'll get that list, and then we'll put on a new course.
Yeah,
maybe refresh everybody really quick that episode. Maybe that's
anything but politics, Dylan.
There you go. But what we'll do, is that maybe what we do for that next one of these episodes where it's just you and me, we'll do a quick recap to catch everybody up, and then we could do a course review. And I can't wait. We got to kick a course off. I think it was very, very exciting when you had to let poor Nor'Wester go out the door.
I can remember back in the day when you telling me there's this guy that he messages me. I play with him. He's called Trevor. He doesn't like your take. He doesn't know why you like the hills more than Nor'Wester. He's like, what does he think it is?
Oh, I think that was Kevin. That was Kevin Topping.
Oh, was it Kevin? I thought it was Trevor.
No, it was Kevin.
No, it was Kevin. Yeah.
Because he likes Kevin. He's out in the West End, so he likes Nor'Wester.
Yeah. Kevin's like, Daryl talks like the hills, like he thinks it's
Augusta. No, that'll be awesome. Funny. We'll get that going again. But guys, thank you so much, folks, for listening to us. We appreciate all the support through Patreon. What do you got to end this off, Daryl?
I don't do we have a sign off?
I think do I spin around the basket, around the
basket. Okay, thanks everybody. We appreciate it. Tell your friends. Tell everybody that that Patreon is free. To get on this, all you need is to sign up for the free membership. We greatly appreciate everybody that does sponsor us, but to be in the chat, all they need to do is sign up for the free tier, and the post will become available to them. So we appreciate it. But until that happens,
we'll see you around the basket.
Bye, everybody.